Okay, so let's continue. Sorry for this brief gap. So as I told you, this session is going to be recorded, so just be aware that whatever participation during the seminar that you may have, you will be recorded, okay? So just to give some order about this presentation, I will just give you a hint about some topics. This is the index that I want to cover. First, some words about our faculty, then our main masters, even if I will cover also 3 other masters where we participate. And then frequently asked questions we typically have, and we also cover in this presentation, like prices of the ECTS, internships and mobility. These are opportunities during the masters, grants and aids that you may get to get financial aids, research and innovation, which is one of our strengths, social life and what the community offers, and at the end, some other frequently questions. Anyhow, you may have some questions that I'm not covering here. So at the end, those of you who are online, just let you know that the chat will be enabled, but only at the end of the talk. So if you have a question, you have 2 options. Either you just write in the chat question, or you write your question itself. If you just write the word question, we will just name you, and then with your mic, you should pose your question, and we will give answer to it. If you write your question, I will simply read it and then answer it anyhow, okay? So let's start with the first point. So with the faculty, for those of you maybe not knowing it that much, is the main faculty of informatics in Spain and one of the leading ones in Europe. FIB belongs to UPC, Universitat Politécnica de Catalunya, which is a public higher education center and research center. Every year we are graduating more than 6,000 bachelor students and master students and around 500 doctoral students. So this can tell you which is the big or the relevance that masters and doctorates have for this university. UPC is a public institution, and as therefore the values that drive our institution are those of independency. We are not tied to any other interest than just these values that are the core of our institution, as I said, which is social responsibility, sustainability, equal opportunities, and cooperation and solidarity. Some indicators about UPC. So right now we have more than 23,000 students, bachelor students, above 5,000 master students, and more than 2,000 doctoral students. This is a big university, as you may see from these numbers. In total, we are right now offering more than 66 bachelors and 81 masters, 45 different doctoral programs in many different areas of knowledge. And importantly, as I told you, UPC is one of the leading institutions in Europe about research. Only in 2020, we had turnover for research and development projects of above 50 million euros. Another strong component of UPC is the internationalization. We have very strong connections with other universities across the world, and then it means that our students go away just to study 1 or 2 semesters abroad. Also, many students come to UPC just to continue their studies. So we have both outgoing and incoming students. We have double degrees. We have many offers to do also internships at companies, also abroad. And we participate in many international networks and cooperation projects. But let's focus on the Faculty of Informatics, which is the faculty inside UPC that focus on all the bachelor's, master, and PhDs related to computer science and related subjects. Okay, so the Faculty of Informatics was created in 1976, so it's relatively new compared to other old faculties, but as I will show you in a moment, in these 40 years of existence, it has had a big impact, especially in Spain and Barcelona. So what is our faculty? Our faculty is in the Campus North campus of UPC. This is this blue point here that you can see. It's in Barcelona, in the main city. It's very well connected to all the city centers. So just by metro, we are not far than 30 minutes to the city center or 15 minutes to Sants Station, which is the main railway station in the city. Anyhow, Barcelona is not that big, and also the bus lines are connecting very well our campus with the rest of the city. Anyhow, as you can see, it's a bit closer to the mountains, which is one of the good things about the campus is that it's surrounded by green and open spaces, and which is conveniently located for us. So besides that, here again, I copy the contact information, you know, our website and also our main information master's email. And here as well, if you want to follow us in the social networking, we have Facebook, Twitter, YouTube channel, and also Instagram. So what is the mission of our faculty? So the mission of our faculty is to provide education in informatics engineering, but basically by promoting and disseminating how these technologies can help and can sustain improvements in the society. As I told you, here we are aligned with the values from UPC, and equality and opportunities and how to improve society is one of the main objectives of the faculty, right? So besides that, our second main objective is to provide strong background to our students. And this is one of the main and distinguishing factors of the faculty. As I will explain later, we have very specialized and cutting edge staff that is very well up to date with most of the advances in technologies and so on. But what we do is that this expertise allows us to really focus on the important concepts, on lasting concepts that the students will really benefit from in the next years when they just reach their professional careers, both in academy or in industry. Aside, we also promote some horizontal skills that are essential for someone who is studying a master, and basically this is effective working and team working, which are essential in nowadays society, but also we need to strengthen the ability of our students to learn by themselves and to be self-sufficient when trying to do the work on their own. Our masters have been externally evaluated, and this is another strong point of our faculty. The faculty is implementing a very rigorous quality assurance system. This means that there are external independent agencies that from time to time come and evaluate our masters. Here you have the main one, which is ACU, that belongs to the European National Quality Assurance Association. And what they do basically is to assess that our masters are meeting the highest quality thresholds. Just to let you know that most of our masters, like MIRI and MAI, they obtain the maximum quality label, which is called ACU Excellence. But then others of our masters, like the EU for HPC or the Master in Data Science, they are new masters, yet not being evaluated by these external agencies because they are quite new, but yet they have relevant labels of quality from the European Commission, like for example, in the case of the Master of Data Science from the European Education and Culture Executive Agency, which labeled our program as an excellence and reference program. Some aspects that I would like to highlight what these quality agencies say that are our strengths about our masters. So they highlight three aspects. I think they are important. The first one is the program learning outcomes, and they really strengthen or highlight how happy are our alumni when they finish our masters with what they learned, and how important is this for their academic and professional career later. Also, the level of our teaching staff. As I told you, our teaching staff, they are not only teachers, they are researchers. They are participating in cutting-edge technologies and projects. This allows them to really have a very deep understanding of the things that they later explain at the lectures, and they can just reach very deep into these aspects. And finally, the other aspect that they were highlighting is that our students are very happy with the support services and the resources that we provide during the masters to facilitate and improve their learning experience. So this is important, as I told you, because it's a mechanism of transparency. So if you have external and independent agencies coming and evaluating your task, it means that you are not just depending on what you say about yourself, but really our masters are really considered the highest esteem by these international agencies. So just summarizing why to choose FIB for studying your masters, where FIB is nowadays one of the top 10 computer science schools in Europe. We have resources teaching staff and experience in these aspects that allow us to really present distinguishing or with added value masters. It's the pioneering school at the level of Spain. It's also the main leading factor of research in Catalonia since 1977, and it's one of the main sources of top quality professionals in the job market that we nowadays have in the area of the engineering especially. Further, as I said, another important aspect is that the excellence quality is certified by the external and independent agencies that always evaluate very highly our masters. So the opportunities that you may find when taking a master here is best first to broaden your knowledge on the latest trends and technologies. As I said, being a cutting edge organization that is very much into research and innovation, we are very much into these topics and the last trends in technologies. You can also move away. One of the things that FIB offers you is that we have very strong connections with universities abroad. And one of the things that I will show you later with numbers is that we have a lot of agreements with other universities that allows you to just move for 1 or 2 semesters abroad. Just as well, another of our strengths is that we have a lot of agreements with industry and organizations where you to take your master thesis and just as an internship if you want, or at a research lab, for example. We have a very international environment. Most of our masters have a fair share of students from abroad. This means that the community and people that you are going to meet and work with, it's by nature international. You can also take a double master degree if you want. There are some options in this sense. And again, you can add value to your curriculum by participating in any of our research centers that are around FIB. Last but not least, FIB also has a very strong community that has a very social and vibrant social life. There we have events around the sports, cultural, international cooperation, and this is again one of our strengths. So what is the outcome that you may expect from our masters? So right now, FIB is acknowledged everywhere like a center that is promoting highly specialized professionals. Our alumni are typically in very relevant positions, both in academia and in industry. This is why, because our masters prepare you to be really not only employees or people working at a company, but you will be more a kind of an entrepreneur, someone bringing innovation, bringing research to your environment, right? Which is the real added value that is needed in the current job market. So we also propose to complement your ICT techniques or skills with other horizontal ones that are always relevant for you, like working with teams and trying to develop an autonomy to let you just research on your own and work with it. And importantly, we are very near to 100% graduate employment, which is a milestone in our faculty. This is indeed something very characteristic of FIB. In our masters, most of the students are already working before finalizing the master. It's very easy to find an internship or start doing it during the master thesis. And in the end, those that typically do not work during the master is because they want to focus on a strength-led academic setting and profile, and they maybe prefer to stay in research centers just to complement their CV. But in general, as I said, we have this very valuable milestone that our graduate employment is almost 100%. So some numbers about the faculty. We have nowadays more than 2,000 students, 3 bachelor degrees, 7 master degrees, which is the relevant part for you. And we have around almost 300 teaching staff and research staff. As well, importantly, we have strong international collaborations with 238 different universities in 43 different countries. We already have 4 double degrees in place, and we have many students that participated in this inbound or outbound mobility during the masters. Also, as you may know, that these trending international rankings, all of them rank FIB very high. I took here the 3 most popular ones, probably. All of them are unanimous that we are the best faculty in computer science in Spain. also is the reference one in South Europe. But then if we consider it worldwide, all of them agree that we are sitting into the top 100 universities, and depending on the ranking, it varies from 37 to 93. Just a milestone itself to be placed so high worldwide. So after this introduction about FIB and the faculty and the university, I would like to highlight the main masters. I will focus on 4 of them, even if later I will also highlight 3 others that might be interesting for you. So let's start with this quick summary. These are the main masters we have at the faculty. So MI stands for Master in Artificial Intelligence. ME is the Master in Informatics Engineering, and it has a modality, industrial modality that I will introduce in a few minutes. Then we have the Master in Innovation and Research in Informatics, which is a master that really has 4 specializations that you choose from the beginning. So these specializations are in advanced computing, computer graphics and virtual reality, computer networks and distributed systems, and finally in high performance computing. Then we have the Master in Data Science, which is new from this September 2021. It's also part of our offer. Then we have the Master per Professorat de Secundària. This is a master to enable people who want to teach in secondary schools. They need to take this master, and the technological one depends on our faculty. And then 2 European masters, one Erasmus Mundus, which is the Erasmus Mundus Master in Big Data Management and Analytics, and the European Master in High Performance Computing. So if you want to know more about these masters, for some of them, we have specific information sessions. So for example, May, the Master in Informatics Engineering will have a specific session on 20th April at 4 p.m. The Master in Innovation and Research in Informatics will have its own specific information session on 29th of April, 4 p.m. And finally, the Master in Data Science, 26th of April at 4 p.m. Okay, so just mark down these dates in case you're interested in any of these masters. So before going to the masters, I would like you to know how to navigate the FIB websites, because there are a lot of information in our webs. So I would really advise you to check them. There are basically 2 main sources of information. The first one is the masters.fib.upc.edu. This is our main website to promote the masters and to inform the students about our masters. So there you will find any of the masters that I mentioned before, and some motivation why this master might be interesting for you, which is the specific curriculum, the employment opportunities behind this master, admission details, so what this master is going to check in order to accept or reject your proposal to follow it, and finally the faculty, which is the teaching staff behind this master, right? As well, we put there some data about the international prestige of the faculty, information about grants, and the city itself for those of you that might not be that familiar with. But then if you want more specific details per master, you can go to the main website of the faculty. There we have the information of the masters for the students who are already taking the master. But this can be interesting for you, because there are some details that are not available in the main one that you may be interested in. Information about how the enrollment procedure works, the detailed curriculum and syllabus of the master, academic regulations, timetables and exams, when this happens, all this kind of information. Also, if you are interested, all the administrative procedures, so whatever procedure you need to do during the master, like enrollment, registration, and so on, is very well detailed in this direction. And finally, the academic calendars, when the lectures take place, when there are holidays, all this information is already as well online, and you can find it in this URL. So I will focus on the masters of fib.upc.edu. That let me just open it here once, just for putting an example of what you can expect here in this website. Here you have all the information about the information sessions. Here you have the general information sessions and the specific information sessions for all the masters that I mentioned. This is the one that we are taking today. It was Tuesday, 29th of March, but there will be 3 more later. And then you have the specific ones. Here you have the information about the masters, right? So whenever you are interested in a master, you just click on it, and then you will find here more details about this. This is what I was telling you, why the curriculum, employment, admission, faculty, all the details are here. Then you also have some testimonials, and at the end of the website, here you have the pre-enrollment. In case you are interested, this is the way to start your pre-enrollment. Okay. So this is the main website that you should check for all the details. But as I told you, I would also advise you to check the other links I put here if you want more details. So let's start with the masters themselves. So this is a snapshot from the website I presented before. So these are the main masters, and these are the information sessions. As I told you, just be aware of the specific one for some of the masters in case you are interested. So what is the procedure if you are interested in any of our masters? So we have some jargon that I would like here to fix. The first one is the pre-enrollment. You need to start pre-enrolling and asking for admission in the master. Then when you pre-enroll, you need to submit some documentation. This documentation is clearly specified in the admission section of the website. And then in the positive case, you will be admitted in the master. It means that you are accepted to follow it. At that moment, our team just contact you and let you know how to proceed in order to officialize your registration, which is the last step. At that moment, you are officially registered in the master and you can start the studies. So some more details about any of these steps. The first one about pre-enrollment. Pre-enrollment started 1st March and it goes till 27th of May 2022. But there are 2 admission periods. This is important because if you pre-enroll before the 22nd of April, we will give you an answer about your admission by the 29th of April. So this is especially important for the students, foreign students that might need a visa to come. It's very advisable that you apply in this first period, because then if you need to start all the visa procedure, you are in time not to lose or to miss any lecture that starts in September. Okay. Anyhow, some people may apply later till the 27th of May. Then the final question about your admission will be on 3rd June 2022. As I said, all the criteria about admission is in the webmaster's FIB. You need to go there, look for the right master, and check the admission information. Okay. From time to time, we may have a 3rd period. This is not guaranteed. That's why it's in italics. It's only if at some master there are some seats available after the 3rd of June, we typically open a 3rd period just for filling it up. But don't count on it, and better focus on the first 2 periods, especially in the first one if you are interested in a specific master and you are already kind of decided. So for the pre-enrollment, you need to go to the master's website that I showed you before. Just look for your favorite master, and when you scroll down, you will find this piece of information, the one that I already showed you live when I clicked on the website. You need to click on the pre-enrollment and then just follow the instructions. So you need to provide the required documentation. This is typically your bachelor degree, your transcripts from the bachelor, the English level in case that you are following a master in English. And also you need to pay some taxes in order to pre-enroll, okay? For more details, UPC has here a website where you can follow with all the details of the admission, but it's pretty crystal clear, I would say. Just following the instructions after clicking on pre-enrollment, you can manage pretty simply. About admission, admission means that after the pre-enrollment, these periods that we said, you may get this outcome from our side. So your application to one of our masters might be accepted, rejected, postponed, or in waiting list. What does it mean? Well, at the end of the first period, you may directly be accepted to the master. You might be rejected. This is typically rejected means that your background doesn't match the expectations or what is required for this master, or postponed. It means that if you are postponed, means that we will give you a final answer during the second period, because most probably if your application is postponed is because there is a lot of people asking to enter the master, and we don't want to fill all the positions or all the seats in the first period. So what we do is try to balance them. No? So you might be postponed because at the end of the second period, besides being accepted or rejected, you may be in the waiting list. This means that you are indeed accepted, but you are not in the top positions of the acceptance list as to enter the master, right? So waiting list here you have the meaning of each of them. Well, accepted means that you directly, if you're accepted in the master, our team contacts you and informs you about all the relevant academic information you need to register and when to register. All this information is duly provided. Even if, as I told you, all this is already available in our FIB website and you can check there. And then once accepted, before registration, you must pay 300 euro to guarantee your place, okay? This money is later deduced from the registration cost. It's not money that you are going to pay just to keep it and then you need to pay your registration again. No, this 300 euros is simply just to guarantee your place, and then this is deduced from the cost of your registration, okay? It's just a way to show that you are really interested in the master and you are going to follow it. If you decline the acceptance because you are not interested in the master anymore, or you don't pay this amount of money, then what we do is, in the people in the waiting list, we start contacting them in order once dropouts happen in the main acceptance list, okay? That's why it's important, this concept of waiting list. And finally, rejected means that your background is not enough to follow the program and you are advised not to start this master, okay? Well, let's start with each of our masters. Let me start with MA, the Master in Informatics Engineering. This is a master that is equivalent to the former Engineering Informatica, that it's a titulation that or a degree that existed in Spain in the past. This is the old degree that maps to the Bachelor plus Master. So to obtain that old degree, the only way to obtain it is after finishing the Bachelor is doing this MA Master. It's also habilitant. Habilitant is most probably it's a very local thing, and students from abroad might not be that familiar with this concept, but habilitant means that there are some positions in the public administration and in some positions in general that you need this master to be able to apply to this position, okay? So it's a kind of green light to allow you to enter some kind of public administration positions via this master. As I told you, this master has two different accreditations, international accreditations, one an international organism, and then the ACU, that it's the one also evaluating them nationally. For ACU, we got the maximum quality label for May, which is excellent. And this master is taught in Spanish or Catalan. This is not in English, okay? This is one of the few masters that are not taught in English. Most of them are. It's a 90 ECTS master with a strong professional orientation, so it's 1.5 years to finish it. So there are 45 compulsory ECTS, 36 on the information technologies, and 9 in management. Why management? Because, as I said, it has a strong professional orientation. And this master asks you to fill up your profile with management capabilities. That is how to lead teams and also how to communicate from a business perspective, whatever you are doing in your work. So it's a kind of a master that allows you to get high-level positions, right? The master complements with 15 elective ECTS and 30 from the master thesis. Importantly, we have industrial agreements that you can do during the master as curricular internships. Curricular means that whenever you do this industrial agreement, you can claim 4 ECTS later, elective ECTS. And also, if you are working with your own working contract, I'm not talking now about an agreement that you set up between the university and your company, but you already are working in right now or before starting the master, this professional experience, if it's relevant for the master, can also be accounted as an elective ECTS. Okay. And then finally, importantly, this master considers that depending on your background, you may need to do some complementary courses in order to enter in full shape this master. So you are required to take some ECTS before, during the first semester, just to complement your bachelor, just to be sure that you are going to succeed properly. So just as an example, if you go to the Master's FIB UPC, here, this is I'm back again to the Master's. Here you have the information that I was showing you before. But you see here in the curriculum, you can get a clear idea how this Master is structured, right? So you see that, as I told you, we have a strong component here on management capabilities, and that's why we have a module of 12 ECTS, some mandatory courses and some elective. So things like viability of innovative business projects, strategic planning. You see, it's more thought to enable you to just lead teams and be able to manage IT teams. Okay. Importantly, in this page, if you just click on any of these courses, you will have here the detail of what the course is about. You have the person in charge and so on, but then the competences, the objectives of the course, you can just get quite a lot of information from this website. So just don't forget to click here if you are interested to know more about the courses themselves and to learn what you will be learning in this master. As I told you, here you have the mandatory and elective courses, and then at the end, the master thesis. Okay. So the main master has an industrial modality, which is something which has been proved to be quite successful in the past. It's the same master as before. It's exactly the same master, but it's just a different track, thought for people working part-time. Either because you are working with your own contract at a company, or because you are conducting an agreement between industry and the university. The interest here is to intensively train people in this setting of academic professional environment and focus on project management and team leadership. If you choose this modality, you finish the master in 2 years instead of 1.5, because you are supposed to be working during all this period part-time, so you are not fully devoted to the academic aspects. So here we acknowledge this aspect of being part-time worker as well. And then importantly, the thing that we did to facilitate this task is that we are accounting that every day you should be working 4 or 5 hours to the studies, so the academic aspect of the master, and around 4 or 5 hours again to the formation and work in industry, according to your industrial agreement or your contract. Okay. About these hours that you need to dedicate every day, some of them will be face-to-face lectures, and some of them is work devoted at home as self-study activities. If you are studying or you need to come to the faculty, just to minimize the problem to move or commute to the faculty, we compact all the lectures of the week in 3 afternoons, from 2 to 8 p.m. So in afternoon schedule, so you can facilitate just attending the lectures by working in the morning. And then the other 2 afternoons, be aware that you are supposed to work at home in academic duties. It's not, it's still you need to devote this time, because there are quite a lot of tasks that need to be devoted during self-study time. Okay. If you're interested in this modality, there is a specific link here that takes you to all the details about this specific track of May. As I told you, this is exactly the same master. It's simply just another track of how to follow the master, but since this is pretty successful, that's why we are highlighting it as a different one, right? Just to give you some more hints, if you follow this orange thing here, would be if you follow May, typically when you are following it in a regular scenario, or here if you are following the industrial modality, this is the blue one, right? So just look at the differences. Since it's a 9 ECTS master, if you do it in a regular way, after 3 semesters you are done. But if you take the industrial modality, you are part-time working during all this period, right? Either with your own contract with an agreement between the university and a company. Just look that this is half of your time, and the other half of the time is some of the courses here. So here you are kind of fixed which courses to take, and also the master thesis is mandatorily done as an internship in industry. That's why it's called Modality B or D. Modality B or D is basically a master thesis that happens at a company. So the difference is, in both cases, you are doing 90 ECTS. The only difference is that in the industrial modality, 42 ECTS are achieved in your company, in your organization, okay? Which means that between 25, 30 hours of work and industry account for 1 ECTS in the master. Okay, the second master that I would like to discuss is the Master in Innovation and Research in Informatics. This is a master that has a very strong component on research, preparing yourself for research and innovation in real environments, both academic and in companies. And then you need to specialize in 4 different aspects of informatics, right? So These research or innovation aspects we tackled in either advanced computing or computer graphics and virtual reality, computer networks and distributed systems, or finally high performance computing. This master as well has the highest accreditation from ACU Excellence, which is the highest quality label, and also the international one. This master is in English. Unlike the previous one, this is fully taught in English, and it's 120 ECTS, so it's 2 years. So this is a fundamental master that will provide you with a strong knowledge, just allowing you to later do innovation and research in these 4 specializations or areas that I mentioned here. About this 120 ECTS, well, one important thing just to mention is that when you start the master, before starting, when you are already pre-enrolling, you need to choose the specialization. So you choose beforehand. And then when you start the master, regardless of the specialization you take, there are 30 common compulsory courses, but then there are 48 ECTS that are specific of the specialization you took. Then there are 12 elective courses that it's up to you what you want to fill them with, and finally 30 about the master thesis. I put here the links for the specializations, so if you just follow any of them, okay, you will go again to the master's website, but now the difference here is that each of the specializations is separated. You see that here we don't talk about MIRI at the large, what we talk is about each of the specializations. So basically you can go to the curriculum, and here you see the structure. So this is a 2 years master, so the first semester is mandatory courses, okay? Here you have mandatory courses that are common of all the specializations are those that are specific for this specialization. For example, randomized algorithms is specific for this specialization, while the other 4 that you see here are common, for all the specializations. Then in semester 2, you have 3 more courses, and all of them are specific for this specialization, and then you have some specialization elective courses like algorithmics for data mining, game theory, VLSI, or social networks, and then 2 electives that you can choose from just to end up your 3rd semester, while the 4th semester is devoted to the master thesis. Okay, so you can see, following masters again, the master's link and this link that I provide here, all the courses and all the specializations, what kind of knowledge you are going to get from there, and so on and so forth. Importantly as well, like in MIRI, we allow industrial agreements or as curricular internships. So it means that you can claim for elective ECTS by having an agreement with a company or an organization and doing internships during the master. And aside as well, if you have a contract, you can claim also elective ECTS from your professional experience. Like in May, we also consider for this master you may need to take some complementary courses in order to fully shape your background and follow these specializations properly. Okay. I didn't mention it, but if you realize the common courses that you have here at MIRI, like these 4 courses here, are courses that are thought to prepare yourself into the innovation and the research aspects. So you have mathematical methods that are required for all the specializations, basic concepts on concurrence, parallelism, and distributed systems, then statistical modeling and design of experiments. This is badly needed, right, for research. And finally, techniques and methodologies for innovation and research in informatics. So these are the 4 courses that are common for all the specializations, regardless which one you take. The next one is the Master in Data Science. This is a new master that appeared only September 2021. This master in the past was a specialization of MIRI, but from September, as I said, it was quite a successful master, and then it became a master itself, not a specialization. This master focused on the area of data science, and as typically mentioned, one of the important things that this master covers is that we don't only cover data analytics, that is the data analysis and visualization part, which is covered typically by data mining and machine learning topics, but we also cover the data management one. And this is one important thing, because data science is different to master in statistics, is that you are creating systems, computer science systems, IT systems, to facilitate recurrent analysis of data within the organizations, right? So here also one of the things that we tackle here is the data lifecycle, how to deal with it, and especially in big data scenarios where in front of very large amounts of data. This master is new, still has not been accredited by the independent agencies I was mentioning before, but yet this master is the local implementation of our Erasmus Mundus master that I will mention in a few minutes as well. And this master is the reference program in data science and in big data by the European Commission, EACEA. So it's already certified by this commission and already acknowledged as an excellence master. This master is also fully taught in English, and it accounts for 120 ECTS, so 2 years, with 54 compulsory ECTS, 36 elective that you can choose between 3 blocks I will mention now, and 30 in the master thesis. So the main specialization blocks that you may follow during your elective ECTS are basically 3. The first one is deep dive in specific aspects of data science. This is when you want to get into specific concepts, fundamental concepts of data science that you may want to complement, like, I don't know, for example, time series or Bayesian statistics, things like that, but still fundamental task. Another one is applications, how to apply in different domains data science, because data science changes or adapts a bit different to the domain. And this is important to know. Some domains that we cover are, for example, bioinformatics, health, or transportation. And finally, as well, since in data science is essential innovation and research, we also have a track or a block courses that foster your innovation and research capabilities. Importantly, the data science master do not consider curricular internships. All the internships you may do that you can still take internships are extracurricular, so you cannot claim ECTS, elective ECTS from it. The only kind of curricular internships that you can take in the Master of Data Science is when taking the master thesis. During the master thesis, it's fine to do internships, and you can take it, account it as part of the master thesis. Also, this master does not consider complementary courses. So when you are when you pre-enroll and you are assessed, either you meet the background required to follow the master, or you will not be admitted, right? So again, following the master's website, here you can see the curriculum of this master. And again, as you see, you have a first semester with some fundamental information about the statistical inference and modeling, multivariate analysis, and then data warehousing, and finally, also to strengthen the algorithmic data structures and databases knowledge of you. This is a fundamental course just to allow you follow or create systems as required in data science. Then you have the process-oriented data science, and in the semester you have 4 more mandatory courses: big data management, semantic data management, machine learning, and mining and structured data, which basically here we focus on deep learning. And then you have the elective courses and the master thesis that span the 3rd semester and 1 course in the 2nd semester. So the elective courses, you can find them here in the 3 blocks that I was mentioning before. So the deep dive, where you have fundamental courses on advanced topics like advanced statistical modeling, advanced machine learning, data analysis and knowledge discovery, and so on and so forth, applications and innovation. Okay. Then the next one I would like to discuss is the MIRI, which is a Master in Artificial Intelligence. This is an inter-university master. It means that UPC or FIB are leading this master, but still 2 other universities are participating, which is University of Barcelona and Rovira i Virgili from Tarragona. This is a master focused on fostering the students with the techniques and the methods needed to implement real artificial intelligence methods or techniques in real scenarios, in real world. As well, this is accredited by ACU with the excellence label and also acknowledged as an international master. This master is fully taught in English as well, and it's of 90 ECTS, so 1.5 years, right? So you have 30 compulsory ECTS, 42 elective, and 18 for the master thesis. For the elective courses of this Master in Artificial Intelligence, realize that you can specialize in, or what they call intensifications, right? And like MIRI, you don't choose the intensifications at admission time. at admission time, you just enroll the master. And then when you are choosing your elective courses, depending on the ones you choose, you may get this label of intensification, right? And here you have the intensifications, one more in how to use data science for artificial intelligence. The second one is multi-agent systems. The third one, sorry, it's a mistake here, is human-computer interaction. Then we have a fourth one, hot topics in AI and professional practice, knowledge, engineering and machine learning, modeling, reasoning and problem solving, and finally, vision, perception, and robotics, or what's called assistive technologies, right? In MIRI, you have, again, industrial agreements with curricular internships. This means that if you take an internship during the master, you can claim for elective ECTS. And also your professional experience can be acknowledged as elective ECTS. As well, you may be asked to do some complementary courses before starting the master or during the first semester, just to complement your background. So again, if we go to the master's portal and you follow here, you have a clear description of the courses. Just realize that the courses are done at UPC, UB, or URB. UPC and UB, both of them, these two universities are in Barcelona, in the city. URB is in Tarragona, so you need to move there to take these courses. But the thing that we did for this master is that you only need to move during one day at the week. Just all the courses at Rovira i Virgili are condensed in one day of the week. So semester one is basically mandatory courses, as can you see here. You have courses that basically give you an overall view of the main intensifications that we were mentioning before and cover the fundamentals of artificial intelligence, right? Like computational vision, introduction to machine learning, planning and approximate reasoning, also human language analysis, computational intelligence, and finally the introduction to multi-agent systems. And in semester two, you already start with the electives and you can specialize here. These electives depend on the ones that you choose. You may get one intensification or another. So before, instead of explaining them here, just allowed me to tell you that depending on the ones, for example, that you are choosing here, like for example, on supervised and reinforcement learning, this is for the data science intensification within the artificial intelligence master, right? Or similarly here, the deep learning one, or if you focus, for example, on complex networks, this is a completely different intensification, right? So depending on what you choose here, depending on that, then in the end, you may get an intensification or not in your title, okay? So after the third semesters, what is missing or what is you need to do is the master thesis of 18 ECTS. In this case, just realize that this master thesis is smaller in size than the other masters. Okay, so about the other masters that you might be interested in, the first one is the Màster per a Professorat de Secundària. This is a master taught in Catalan and Spanish, but yet you still require a third language with a B1 level. This is just to train people for being teachers in a secondary school, right? So you cannot be a teacher in secondary school without this master. But to be a teacher in secondary school, you need to choose different path. In this case, if you choose the technology path, this is the master depends on us, and this is the master that I'm presenting here. Again, like May, this is a master habilitant in the sense that without this master, you cannot be a teacher, okay, in secondary school. And then it's a master of 60 ECTS of 1 year. Nevertheless, this master already considers what is called a slow track. And a slow track means that there are 29 ECTS you take during the first year and 31 during the second year. This is just to facilitate that some people might not be able to do this master in only 1 year, so they have this slow track while consolidated. And it would be quite similar to the industrial modality of May, but in this case adapted to this master. Of course, in this 60 ECTS, you also consider the practicum, which is real practices in an institute. So here you have the link to the information of this master. But the important thing that I would like you to know is that to apply to pre-enroll in this master, you should not do it via the master website like in the other masters that I presented before. The 3 masters that I'm going to mention now, the pre-enrollment is a bit different. In this case, you need to pre-register by end of July to mid-September via what is called the University Access Portal. With this link you find here, okay? With this link here, you just go to this page, and here is how you pre-register for this master. Since this master has a different calendar to the other masters, just to let you know that the information sessions for this master typically happen on July and September, okay? And then between this time is when you should pre-register. The second other master that I would like to discuss is the Erasmus Mundus in Big Data Management Analytics. This is an Erasmus Mundus. It means that it's a master offered by several universities in Europe. The coordinating university of this master is the University Libre de Brussels, but also UPC, we as FIB participate here, also the University of Padova, Technical University of Eindhoven, and Paris-Saclay Central Supélec in France. This master is the one that got accredited by the ECIA as a flagship master in big data and data science in Europe. And the data science master that I presented before is the local implementation of this master at the local level. That's why, as I told you, even if it's still not accredited by the European, by the quality agencies, it still has a quality label. If you would like to apply to BDMA, there are 2 periods of applying. The first one is if you want to get grants or not. Grants, typically, you need to apply between September to December. So it means that for grants already passed, you cannot apply to BDMA to 2023 from now on, already passed. But you can apply as self-funded from March to June, okay? This is a master of 120 ECTS, so 2 years, with 60 compulsory ECTS, 30 in specialization, and 30 in the master thesis. So again, here you have the website, and this is a master with mandatory mobility, okay? So it means that you have 1 semester in Brussels, 1 semester at UPC. This is the first year mandatory. Then there is a mandatory summer school that takes somewhere in Europe. And then you need to take one of the 3 specializations in Eindhoven, Paris, or Padova. The 4th semester is devoted to the master thesis, but as you see, the big difference in this master is that there is a lot of mobility. You need to move quite a lot in Europe during these 2 years. And finally, the other European master where we participate is the Master for High Performance Computing. It's coordinated by the University of Luxembourg, but 7 other universities participate. So besides UPC, you have here Politecnico de Milano, the University of Nuremberg, the Sorbonne University, the Sofia University, the University della Svizzera Italiana, and finally the Swedish University of Kungliga Tekniska Högskolan. Again, this is a master that is European, so the accreditation or the quality label provides from Europe, in this case from the H2020 framework program and the Euro HPC cluster. Like BDMA, it has grants. These grants are not Erasmus Mundus, so this is not an Erasmus Mundus master, it's a European master, it's something a bit different, but the way of working is very similar to that of BDMA, so you again can have grants. For this one, still you are on time to apply because deadline is the 15th of May. Okay. Here you have the instructions, the URL, and to find more information. But this master is in high performance computing. It's a 2 years master with mandatory mobility, like BDMA. The difference is that here you take 2 universities out of these 8 universities above. 1 were to do the first year, and 1 were to do the second year of the master. And you have a lot of combinations, way more than in BDMA. Okay, so with this, I just would like to finish this brief summary of all the masters. If you have more, you have doubts or you want to know more information about these masters, you can ask at the end of this presentation when we enable the chat or live from the faculty. But otherwise, you can also always write to us to the InfoMasters webmail. Anyhow, if you have very specific information about one master that it's about academic questions, it means that you would like to know more about a course or the kind of profile that you will get because you are not sure if this is what you want to do from a professional point of view. I listed here the academic responsibles of each master. So this is the person that will be able to answer these more detailed questions about the academic aspects about courses or the professional options you may have after the master. So for each of the masters here, you have the person and the email to contact this person. Okay. So after all this brief summary, as again at the end, I will be more than happy to discuss. One thing that I maybe forgot to mention is that the Master in Data Science and the Master in and the May, these are scheduled typically in the afternoon. MIRI is in the mornings, and May is a bit of everywhere. You have lectures in the morning and in the afternoon. Also, another question that you may have is what is the profile for each of these masters? Well, all of them expect a strong background in computer science. The only exception to this is that the Master in Data Science and MAI, they accept profiles coming from the engineering, mathematics, and statistics, right? Because they are more focused on the data or artificial intelligence techniques, where it's a kind of a world that sits in the middle of computer science to mathematics and other aspects. So these two masters allow this kind of more hybrid profiles, while the other two are more specific of computer science. About prices, just let you know that we don't have the prices for the next course. The next course prices will be published in July. Okay. Once they are published, there is a web that is this one here, where you can check the prices of all the masters at UPC, so including the ones from FIB. Anyhow, just to give you a hint or where this cost might be, the prices for our masters is different if you are a European Union applicant or you are non-European, right? This is because if, as usual in many countries, if you are a taxpayer, you are kind of a subsidy when following the masters. If you are from external of these countries and you have not been a taxpayer in the past, then you need to fully pay the price of the master, right? So in this sense, the price that you may expect per ECTS is 27.67 euros if things are like in the previous year. The only exception is BDMA, which is way more expensive. This is the price of Erasmus Mundus, and this is set by the European Union. The only exception with BDMA that this price is not only for European Union candidates, but also what the European Union call program countries. So this includes Turkey, Macedonia, Iceland, Liechtenstein, Serbia, and Norway. If you are from non-European Union, then is a modifier of 1.5. So it means that the cost of ECTS is 41.5 for most of our masters. For BDMA is just double, which is 150 euros. So what to expect about the prices in 2022, 2023? Well, it seems that they will stay the same or even be lower. So there is a big chance that they are lower from next year. But in the worst case, everything seems that it will be these prices in the worst case, right? But as I told you, we will know this around July. Well, then some questions that typically we have, and I would like to cover also in this presentation. The first one is about internships. As I told you, FIB has a very wide network of companies around us that they know that our students are highly capable and highly skilled. So they are very keen on offering agreements with the university to offer the students to do some internships during the master, right? This is what we call in our own jargon, Convenis de Colaboració Universitat-Empresa, in short CCE. You have all the detail here in this website. If you click here, you will go to this website here below. There are information for the companies, information for the students, and regulations. There is a minimum amount of money that you need to be paid during this internship, and this is set by UPC, just to guarantee that there is some quality in this internship and you are focusing on tasks related to your master. And then also the only information about the companies themselves that they need to fill to formalize these agreements. These agreements are quite convenient for the companies because they don't pay full taxes as an employee, but as a kind of an internship, which is very convenient for them. In general, most of our students sign CCEs to do their internships. which is convenient for everybody, for companies and for the students who are protected by FIB. So these agreements can be established with companies, just filling the documentation and meeting the regulations that you can check in the previous slide, in the previous link. And then we talk about extracurricular or curricular practices. Sorry. Extracurricular practices are those that you can do an internship at a company, but you cannot claim elective credits. This is the case, for example, if you do an internship in the Master of Data Science, all the practices that you will do will be extracurricular, except for the master thesis. The Master of Data Science allows you to do curricular practices for the master thesis, okay? But only for the master thesis. All the other masters allow you to do curricular practices. What does it mean? That if you sign an agreement and do an CCE with a company, then you can claim elective ECTS. You cannot claim less than 6 ECTS. So either you replace it by an elective course, this is the minimum, right? But then on top of that, you can do the master thesis as well as curricular practices. So in short, if you want me to give you a hint, all the masters allow you to do curricular practices for the master thesis, and all of them except Master of Data Science allows you to also claim at least 6 ECTS for curricular practices. How to know to make the conversion between hours at the company and ECTS? Well, the conversion factor is this. After 30 hours of work, this is converted to 1 ECTS, right? And if you do the master thesis as curricular practices, this is what we call modality B or D. Modality B is when you do the master thesis at a company in the country, and D is when you also move abroad to another country to do the internship, which is possible, and then it's modality D, sorry. However, you have a maximum of hours that you can do per internship. So this depends if the master is 90 or 120 ECTS. Those masters being 90 ECTS, you can do at most 900 hours of internship. And then for the others, you can do up to 1200, okay? On top of that, as I mentioned in the previous slides, you can claim ECTS for your professional experience. If you are working part-time or with your own contract at a company, for the work that you did previous or during the master, you can claim also ECTS, but here the ratio that you need to apply to do the conversion is this one. After 1600 hours, you can get 6 credits, and beyond that, you need to do the proportion of this ratio to know how many credits you may get. The next step is about mobility and internationalization. I would say that this is one of our strengths and our main features at FIB. We have plenty of options to allow you to move during your master to another country or to another university. Currently, right now, the students in this year at our masters, they can benefit from 189 different agreements with 181 different universities in 41 countries, which is bold. There are not that many faculties allowing to or providing so many opportunities for the students to move. And I personally advise you to do at least 1 semester of mobility during your master studies. Mobility is important for many reasons, but one of them is internationalization and just learning another culture, another way of being, another language. This is all positive, and also another way of doing academic work in another university. Among all these agreements, you will find the top universities in Europe that they all have agreements with us. And these are the conditions to move 1 or 2 semesters. For example, in the MIRI master, you can do up to 60 ECTS, so almost two full semesters, the second year of the master, fully abroad. For May and Mai, it's only 1 semester, but this is because they are only 90 ECTS, so you need to stay 1 year here, and then the other semester you can move. And the Master of Data Science, like MIRI, you can fully move abroad for 1 year. The mobility programs, many of them with scholarships, so you can get some money as part of the mobility. that we participate in are Erasmus Plus, which is our most popular one, right? But then we have the CERN, with the CERN in Switzerland, when some students move there. Mobility to Latin America, USA, and Canada, with the National Institute of Information in Tokyo, and finally with Chinese universities. We are also offering double degrees. This means a double degree means that if you spend some time at another university, when you finish the mobility, you get 2 degrees, the degree at UPC, at FIB, and the degree at the other university. So we have a degree for May and May with the Escuela Pontificia Universidad Católica de Perú, and with MIRI with Politécnico de Torino. You can also do an internship abroad. As I told you, this is possible. You can do a mobility abroad just to do an internship. There are ever open courses. You can do a mobility to a company in the framework of Erasmus+, but there are other frameworks that also allow this and offer alternatives to the students. You can also move to another academic institution we have an agreement with, and as you see, we have a lot of agreements with many other places, and as well with industry, right? Industry in other countries. Finally, there are a lot of activities that you may also be interested, like summer schools, short stays, that also fit in here. You will see that the faculty will be advertising all these activities that may entail mobility, and you may want to tackle. So we have a website as well where all this information is there. The website is pretty complete. You have all the information for outgoing. You need to check outgoing, because once you are enrolled in one of our masters, you will be an outgoing student, and you need to check how to do it. Here you have the double degrees information, and then the international partnerships with all the universities and countries where we have agreements with. Importantly, you need to check the mobility calendar. In the mobility calendar, which is in this website, here we are always informing which are the dates to apply for mobility. This is extremely important because mobility has very strong constraints. You need to apply during certain periods, which is way before the mobility. So if you are interested in mobility, from the day one you are part of one of our students, please check the mobility calendar, and importantly, attend the information sessions about mobility. We always have a couple of them in the first and in the second semester. These are the dates we had for this year, but you may account that there will be similar for next year. So we have one around November and the other one in February. This is important you attend, and you get very well informed, because as I told you, the constraints and the restrictions to be able to move are quite hard constraints. So you need to follow the dates and meet the procedures not to miss it. So just be sure to get informed on time. If you have doubts, we still have also an email address specifically for mobility and internationalization, which is this one that appears here. The next one is that we have also a web where we centralize all the information about grants and financial aids that you may have. So we have several grants and scholarships provided by third organizations. There are some companies, or there are organizations, or there are different elements that they are providing ways to pay the taxes of the master, or just getting scholarships covering the tuition fees of the master, right? The important thing that I would like to stress today, and this is extremely important because it has changed, is that there are some becas del Ministerio de Educación. These grants are for people who are either Spanish, they live in Spain, or they have been in a long stay in Spain. If you meet this criteria, you can apply for these grants to study a master, okay? But they change a bit how it works, and now this year you need to apply even if you are not sure where and when you are going to study next year. So you need to apply for this grant without knowing exactly in which master you are going to be accepted. Then later, if you apply to the grant and you get the grant, in September you will need to inform them which is the master that you choose, okay? But what is important now for you is that if you apply to apply, please, you need to do it before the 12th of May. This is way earlier than in other years. You just need to follow all the instructions, And you will see that when you apply now, you don't need to specify at all which is the university or the master that you are going to follow. You don't have to say that. You only need to say, I'm going to study a master, and it's going to be next year. This is the only thing that you need to acknowledge for now. Then you provide all the rest of the information, and then if you are accepted, in September, you will need to inform about your choice. So this is a very different procedure, so be careful. If you plan to apply, there are further details in this link, and UPC also published a video to support you how to do this, which is in here, and I would suggest you to follow and check it with care. Well, another important thing about our masters, and I think it's it's an element of added value that you may want to stress. Many of our students do research and innovation during their stay in our masters. Why is that? Well, because as I told you at the beginning, UPC and FIB are leading research institutions in both in Spain and Europe. For example, just to give you some hints, UPC is the top university obtaining H2020 projects in Spain and one of the top performance in Europe. You can have some numbers in this link, for example, but also UPC is a leading institution with startups, spin-offs, innovation and technology transfer to companies in general. So here you can have, for example, the number of elements, but just last year from UPC, there were 7 spin-offs of companies created around our university. Further, from the innovation aspect, UPC is a leading institution and one of the first one having a Center for Development Cooperation, which is one of the things to be proud of, and you have more information here. With this, some of these elements, like for example, the Center for Development Cooperation, they provide grants to participate in some projects of innovation, but then there are many research groups that they are all the year offering grants, even contracts to participate in research and innovation tasks within them. Okay? I would advise you to keep an eye from the very first day on this kind of opportunities, because they are really opportunities. Most of the lecturers that you are going to be your teaching staff during the master, they are researchers, but they are not regular researchers. I would say that they are top researchers. Yes, they are participating in cutting-edge projects like H2020 projects or very important projects with top companies in any field that you may imagine. And they also have very strong networks with researchers all over the world. So it might be the case that you want to get a research grant or an agreement with one of these research groups or companies to do some research and innovation during the master. This would be an alternative to do just an internship in a company. Research and innovation differ from regular working aspects in that when you are in a company, you are just following some tasks that you are assigned. But in research and innovation, you need to bring the knowledge that you learned in the master and bring added value to the company, the institution, or the research group where you are tackling. Typically tackling problems that have not been well studied before or well systematized before. They are not operationalized yet, right? And our research groups cover whatever aspect you may be interested in. We have research groups in mathematics, business administration, computer architecture, physics, services and information systems engineering, computer science, statistics and operational research, and systems engineering, automatic control, and industrial informatics. I included here in these slides to let you already start checking, if you want, our research groups. So you can go to futur.upc.edu. This is the website where you can find information about all these research groups. And I already listed here the most prominent ones or more related to our masters, or organized by area. I'm not going to discuss them all, but if you check, we have only in mathematics area, there are 7 different groups doing research in different aspects, like game theory, numbers theory, applied analysis, knowledge engineering, so on and so forth. So you have 2 full slides of different research groups. This is what, from my point of view, makes very appealing and interesting to do a master at FIB, because you will be exposed to research and innovation like in very few other universities you will be able to. And this will give you added value to your CVs, because when you are out then in the job market and you can claim that you have been participating in top projects like an H2020 project or top research projects, And doing research and innovation there, this is something very distinguishable, some very specific added value that will complement very nicely your CV. And indeed, many of our former students or students that are taking the master right now, they participate in research groups. And this is one of the things that when I talk to them, they are more happy about, and they see that really they are getting added value about their studies. And last but not least, also the community around UPC is very vibrant and it's very lively. So I would also advise you to check all the community around and things that you can do. There is a website here, which is the one that you have here, where you have all the things that the community is promoting. One of the important things that there are a lot of associations just led by students, current hour students, that they are just interested in a certain topic. They gather and they just promote doing activities and promoting a community around this topic. So you can see that these are the current ones here. We have 17 associations right now. And these associations are very active. For example, the biggest hackathon in Europe is organized by the Hack UPC group, which is the group here, Hackers. This is a group that they like coding and they like organizing hackathons. So this Hack UPC is really something, and currently, as I told you, the biggest hackathon in Europe when organized. By the way, the hackathon for this next year is already open, and they are registering people. So if you are interested, just look for Hack UPC and you may know more about it. Besides the associations and the activities that they are kind of established, there are a lot of things that are happening from time to time that are still organized by the community. Like, for example, the hackathon for La Marató de TV3, which is called Beats per la Marató, which every December, during 3 days, the FIB community gathers around it and try to provide added value with hackathons and the likes for social good. This is typically the main objective of the Beats per la Marató. There should be a topic for this hackathon that it's providing social good. But there are many others. So we have initiatives like the Women in Data Science that will take in Barcelona again this year. The Top Secret Roses, that is for the artificial intelligence interested people, focus on women again. European summer schools. There are a lot of summer schools around our research groups. Here you have one, for example, in Big Data Management and Analytics, which is a recurrent summer school that takes place every year. But as I told you, there are other summer schools around our masters. Talks or initiatives about the specific things like robotics in advanced factories, like this one here, or the FIB Visiona, which is an event that typically happens once per year, where our students are put in contact with companies, that the companies offer different kind of opportunities, and the students can just move. It's a kind of a fair that you move around, you learn about the companies are offering, and you may want to establish an internship afterwards. And then some facts that were not really covered with my talk, but typically you have. Here I summarize 4 of them. The first one is, if you have not finished your undergraduate studies, can you still apply to a master? And the answer is a big yes. You can be admitted into a master. What we are going to ask you is that when the master starts, we start in September, right? When you are done with your bachelor by September. But there is still even a case where you are not finished in September and you might still be admitted and be able to register and start the master in time. This is the case if your bachelor thesis finishes in October. But this is a specific case. If you are in this case that you are going to finish your bachelor after September, please contact us for more details and let us know what is your situation, and we will let you know if this is a good fit or not with our masters. The second one is, can I work and study at the same time? Again, it's a big yes. I gave you a lot of insight during the presentation that you can be part-time working, and then you can follow the master's part-time with a different or a slower number of ECTS that you can take per semester. But also there are things that we promote as faculty, like, for example, internships during that time, either extracurricular or curricular, as I mentioned before. The third one is about COVID-19. Well, this academic year that we are now on, we are 100% face-to-face, lecturing face-to-face in September, and we are expecting this to happen next year. Of course, if there is another public health recommendation that we are recommend to move online or hybrid again, we will of course do it, but in any case, we will maximize the face-to-face presence as we prioritize face-to-face lecturing. And a similar question is, what if I'm a new incoming student, how to do the enrollment? So registration has been online in the last courses. We plan to allow this to be online as well. But just be aware that when you do the registration, there are always some documentation you need to hand it out. If you do the registration online, then typically we also allow you to bring this documentation a bit later after doing the registration before the lectures start. But again, depending on your case, just let us know what is the problem and it will be more specifically answered to your specific case. And with this, I'm done with my presentation. So now we will open the chat. So we will start with questions from people at the faculty and so people who are online will have some time to start writing in the chat. As I told you, you have two options: either write the word question or write your question itself directly in the chat. If you put just question, I will just name yourself, and when I name you, just activate your microphone and pose your question, and we will give you answer. If you write the question directly in the chat, what we will do is read aloud the question and then provide the answer. So the chat is already enabled, so you can start already writing your questions or asking for your turn. Monse and people at the faculty, I don't know if people who are there, while the people are writing in the chat, we can start with questions from people in the faculty if they have any question.
The first one is regarding, well, the three are regarding the elective courses, and the first one is about the combination of them. I imagine that you can elect any permutation of them that you like, even if they are not within a concrete specification.
Yeah, you can choose your elective courses as you want. The only thing is that depending on the one that you take, you may get an intensification label at the end. That's the only thing.
Okay. And the other one is also about the elective courses, and it's which are the criteria to be taught? How many students there need to be? And with your past experience, there are some elective courses that might not be taught because they are short of students, or usually all are available.
I see what you mean. So the point is that typically these masters, especially the master in artificial intelligence is one of them, they are typically full. So it means that there are enough students as to fill all the elective courses. The courses that are online, to my knowledge, all of them are open and they are available for the students. So it's not the case that you have courses with 2 or 3 students and they are not offered. I'm not aware of it, at least. The other people from the team of masters are here, so if they want to complement my answer, they will do it right after. But in general, this is not a problem. The problem might be the other way around. In all our masters, what might happen is that some elective courses are quite demanded. So what we do in this faculty is that we order all the students of the master by the average mark of the previous semesters. So you start choosing the elective courses first, the highest your mark is, okay? So after, imagine that you have an elective course. So typically our masters are up for about 40 people, right? That we accept, except my, that I think it's 50. So the thing is that when you have this, when you have an elective course that is very much mandated, and I don't know, imagine that there are only 20 positions available, then if everybody would like to do it, then the first top 20 marks are the ones that will be able to choose it. Anyhow, there are so many elective courses that our experience says that people distribute well between the elective courses. I don't think it's, I'm not aware at all that it's a big issue that some courses, they are not going to be taken by other students. I don't think that's the case, because when you have so many people, in the end, everybody's interested in a bit different things, and in the end they distribute well between the different elective courses. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Well, and the last one is about the subjects that are taught in the elective courses, because there are some courses that seems to be very similar, like different elective courses of natural language processing or computer vision, for example. And I imagine that there is no overlap between the things that are
No,
taught.
no.
Okay.
Typically, what the content of the courses is already considered not to have overlapping in this sense. No. You can
Okay.
be you can be in peace with your mind with that.
Okay. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
Another question?
My question is related about the admission. I have 2 degrees in UPC about business administration and marketing, but all my whole background is developing on blockchain and technologies over 3 years with my startup. So what's the best advice if I wanted to apply for the MA, the Master in Engineering Informatics, at the moment to...
Yeah. So the background that we are expecting there is someone with a bachelor in computer science. So what you need to be aware of is that in May, what the admission commission checks is that your bachelor's or the courses that you took in your bachelor's are covering the essential courses in computer science. The only exception to this is that if you are lacking to up to at most 30 ECTS during the first semester, you could be asked to do some courses just to complement your background, right? So the thing is that it's difficult to answer with what you told me, but the thing is that in essence, you should be covering the essential of a bachelor in computer science with at most a gap of 30 ECTS that then in this case, the commission would tell you to cover during this first semester to be able to follow the rest of the master.
Okay, so the admission commission will tell me if I need to do some courses with
Exactly.
ACTS, and if I take all them successfully, I can do the master.
Well, it's taken during the first semester of the master. You know,
So
it's what is called complementary courses. It's exactly this.
So is there any case similar to mine in the past that came from any other?
Yes, but the thing is that you should have been exposed to the basic concepts of computer science. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we accept people coming from other bachelors, but at least the basics need to be covered with at least a gap of at most 30 CTS.
So at this moment, what I have is a lot of projects on the internet, so that I can assure I have the basics. So is there any kind of demonstration, or could I take courses before?
I think that typically, as how these commissions work, it's not possible only to show or cover this information with projects or GitHubs or things like that. Typically, you need to show that you were following fundamental courses, just teaching you the fundamentals of these concepts, right? Anyhow, if you want to discuss specifically the case, you can send me an email right after, and we can discuss your specific case more in detail. No, but in general, what we check is that you have taken courses at the bachelor level covering most of the computer science background.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, more questions? Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Regarding these other backgrounds that can access this MA and the MDS masters, you mentioned mathematics and statistics. Is it physics another option?
Yes. For the
Okay.
Master of Data Science, for example, it's a very natural entering point. So we have a lot of students coming from physics for data science. So that would be normal.
Thank you.
For May, again, it depends on the background you had in computer science, because in May, we are expecting more a kind of a computer science profile.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Hi, my question will be more or less the same, but for the MIRI master. what kind of background is expected for the students there?
So in MIRI, basically it's computer science, because then the specialization happens during the master. So it's not that we are expecting, for example, if you take the computer graphics specialization, you already come with knowledge in computer graphics. So the specialization happens during the master. So the background that they are expecting is that of a bachelor in computer science or similar to it. Okay, so again, nowadays there are a lot of bachelors that it's very difficult to tell you this one, and this one. Depend a lot on the bachelor you had and the core concepts that you were covering from computer science in your bachelor.
Okay, thank you. And another question for this same master. I noticed that all the subjects are taught on the mornings. Is there an option to take it partially or to take any classes on the afternoon?
For MIRI, as far as I'm aware, the timetable is typically morning. I think that most of the courses will be scheduled in the morning. Always there can be an exception, right? A course that is scheduled in the afternoon, but mostly they are in the morning.
Okay, thank you.
More questions? No? Here is no more questions.
Okay, let's start then with the questions from the chat. So the first person in the chat is Javier Roset. Javier.
Yes, hi. Do you listen me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. My question was also regarding the competences to get into the MI, because I'm a student from aeronautical engineering here in Terrassa, but I also have some background programming and well, playing and working with deep learning, so I have some doubts about it.
So the thing is that I don't think that your bachelor is by default out of the question. I think that it could be considered, right? So it depends a bit on the background that you have and the courses that you have taken during your bachelor to make a final decision. If you have doubts specifically about what you did and if this fits artificial intelligence, you can always send an email to the academic responsible that you saw in the slides to gain more details about it. But anyhow, by default, your bachelor might be considered.
Okay, and I have another question regarding admissions, because I have sent my admission, my pre-inscription, but now I want to add some information. I don't know if you can answer me, but is it possible to add some information to the pre-inscription?
I think that it's better that you write to Masters, the mail here, and explain the situation, and let's see if they can send it back somehow or not. Honestly, I'm not aware of that. I don't know if any of my colleagues can answer to this. Maribel or Jose Manuel, or you are aware of this?
Yes, you can add documentation to the registration. Yeah, even if it has been validated.
Okay.
Okay, I'll send an email because I don't know how to do so. So, well, it's for not asking this here because maybe it can take a while. But okay. Where do I send an email?
Okay, thank you, Javier. So the next question is from Joao. He's asking, and he wrote the question in the chat. I will read it. I want to apply to MI, but I can have the EL certificate at the first call, so before the 22nd of April. Is it possible to apply and give the certificate some days later? Jose Manuel, I think that this is again for you, this question, no? Is it possible, or he should have it?
Yeah, right now the only thing we ask to is to have the proof of their enrollment to pass the exam.
Okay, so just with enrollment for the exam, it should be enough, and then it's kind of a conditional. Okay.
Yeah.
Then Joao is also asking if it's possible to do extra credits. As far as I know, you can take some extra credits and enroll extra credits beyond the maximum of the master, right? I think this is fine. The next one with a question is Saurabh Nagarkar. Saurabh, whenever you want.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I have a question that I'm currently studying in 8th semester of my bachelor's in computer engineering. So right now I have the certificates from 3 years, first, second, and third year, like completion certificates. Right now, currently, I don't have the first semester of fourth year certificate. So can I apply to the masters with these certificates till third year?
And I think you need the complete transcript with. But what is the problem? You cannot achieve the first. Or you cannot
No,
get
no,
the.
actually, I was pre-enrolling myself like yesterday. So I came across that the documentation required are the academic records. So what are the academic records required right now? Because I currently have certificates till third year of my engineering. The fourth year is still going on. I'm in eighth semester, last semester. So can I upload those 3 years of certificates in the pre-enrollment form?
Sorry, I understood the other way around. Yeah, of course. So this is what I mentioned before. The thing is that even if you have not finalized yet, you can still pre-enroll. So I understand that what you need to upload is the transcripts you have up to now.
Yes, exactly. So I just have to upload the transcript that I have with me right now, right?
Yes. Jose Manuel, can you fully confirm that I'm right? But I think this should be.
Yeah, they just have to upload the documents for the 3 years and then apply with that partial.
So, should I upload the original transcript or should I have to like translate it to Spanish or Catalan?
No, if the documents are in English for the admission purposes, that are enough.
Okay, so right now I can upload it directly, right? Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So the next one is Camilo Betancourt. When do courses begin? The website only shows information for the 21-2022 course. Camilo, the dates are always very similar, and it's at the beginning of September. Around the second week of September is when they start. Sometimes it's a bit earlier or later, but you should account that you should be in Barcelona by the beginning of September already. It's when typically the masters start. Okay. The next question is from Carlos Quesada. I'm a lawyer, master and PhD graduate in law who is interested in a transdisciplinary approach to artificial intelligence as a tool for solving environmental conflicts. I have a question about this master's degree. Could you tell us more about the entry profile of professionals who do not come from computer science field? Carlos, I'm afraid that lawyer is too far away from what is expected in as an entry profile, and you will be missing too many computer science background as to follow this master. So lawyer is an entry bachelor that we never had before. So I would say this is a kind of a big red flag. The next question is for Hamed Khan. Hamed?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, thank you for your lecture. And my first question is some kind similar to Carlos' questions. I'm actually an assistant professor in electrical engineering. I mean, I have a PhD in control engineering, and I got my PhD around 10 years ago. Am I allowed to apply for Master of Artificial Intelligence?
Can you repeat what is your bachelor, please, again?
My bachelor was in electrical engineering.
Electrical engineering.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is one of these fields around computer science that I would say that the answer is depends. Depends on how much exposure you had during your bachelor and your previous studies to computer science.
I know it. Actually, my question was about that. Having a PhD in some in another field, am I allowed to again apply for master, or
yes,
having
a PhD
is a problem?
Yeah. No. Having a PhD for sure doesn't disqualify you. So this is fine. The thing is that what the commission is going to check when you apply is your background that you have, and they will consider all the studies you did, including the PhD, and then they will emit their admission.
Okay, I see. Thank you. And the second question is that, do you have any age limit for application? I mean, I'm turning my 37.
No. There are no limits. As I told you, this is a public institution, so we strive for equal opportunities. So these are things that are not considered at all.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So the next question is from Hunter Phelan, and he says, thank you for your presentation. Oscar, is there a summer semester? What do students typically do over summer? No, there is no summer semester. Typically, semester is a break. So during summer, you can, if you want to complement your own studies, what many students do is either to take an internship, work in a research group, or do one of these external tools like the Google Coding Summer Camp or things like that that they are offered, or an internship at CERN. So there are a lot of opportunities, but it's not purely curricular. It should be one of the things that the faculty offers. And this is one of the things that I would advise in general the students to do, is to take advantage of all these opportunities. For example, during summer, this is perfectly fine, but there is no such a summer semester. You could do a break and go on holiday if you want during summer. So between July and August, this is typically our summer break. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Oscar. Is it okay if I ask one follow-up question to that? This is Hunter again.
Yes, go on.
Are internships and research opportunities available for international students?
Yes, of course. Yeah. We have a lot of international students, and this is fine. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So the next one is Fernando Garzón. Do master programs start in spring 2023, say January, March? What would be more or less the deadline for those? It depends on the master. So there are some masters that allow you to start in the what we call the spring semester, which is in February. Yeah? And as far as I know, MIRI for sure allows it. But for example, the Master of Data Science does not allow to start in February. So it depends on the master. About the deadlines, you caught me here. I don't know if anyone from the master team, the team of masters, know when are the dates typically for enrolling a master that starts in February, like for example MIRI.
Typically before Christmas.
Before Christmas, okay.
More or less.
Okay, thank you, Maribel. The next question is from Evripidis Abraham. Good evening to everyone. I have a question. How many people are usually admitted to the MIRI program? The MIRI program, if I'm not wrong, has a limit of 80 people, right? I think that this limit is still holds, right? And I think it's 80. The next question is from Aneta Stojanovska. Has a question, Aneta? Are you there, Aneta? We cannot hear you, Aneta. Maybe you are muted yet. Okay, let's move to the next question. Luis Salazar, I have a question. I choose one course for an intensification in the May. Do I have to follow the full path of the intensification, or can I choose elective courses from the other intensification? You can choose from other courses, so you don't need to follow the whole intensification. The next question is from Luis Felipe Quesada. Will the session be available later? Yes, we will. We are recording the session, so this will be published later, also with the slides. Since you had to enroll to this session with your emails, we will inform you when this is available to all of you. Andres Diaz is asking, hi, what are the tests accepted to validate the level of English? In general, we accept any official test, so it should be for a recognized organization. That's the main thing. Anyhow, Jose Manuel, if you may want to complement the answer.
Yes, I will put in the chat the address where the table of all the accepted certificates are.
Thank you. So please check in the chat for the link that Jose Manuel is going to place there now. So the next question is from Joaquín Aliaga. I have two questions. Can international students apply to becas del Ministerio de Educación? Joaquín, no, the becas del Ministerio de Educación are for either people who live, who are Spanish or live in Spain or have been for a long time in Spain. You need to meet these 3 criteria, one of these 3 criteria. And the second, when the grants and financial aid webpage will be updated to 22-23. Typically when the grants make the new call. So you can check the dates of the previous call, and typically most of the grants are similar dates, right? So they follow similar periods, but it needs to be open, the call, the new call to be updated. The next one is from Saurabh Nagarkar. Oh, sorry, no, I moved, yeah. No, it's Saurabh. Sorry, I was confused because you already asked. I don't know if you want to ask again, Saurabh?
So I've already asked the question.
Okay. Thank you. Then the next one is Jens Lageman. Do documents in English from a European university have to be have a certified translation to Spanish for the pre-inscription? Well, Jose Manuel already answered to this. The answer is no. You can upload for the pre-enrollment. You can upload directly your documentation in English. It's later they will inform you exactly what to do if you are accepted, then what to do for the official registration. Then we have the next question. Sorry, this is in Cyrillic, so I'm not able to read your name, but the question says, should I have a homologation for my master diploma? I think that for the pre-enrollment, no, but Jose Manuel, does it, the homologation is needed for the pre-enrollment?
No, we just not the degree that gives them access to master, that's so.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So it's the same answer as the previous question, let's say. And then the next question from Anna. Good evening. What kind of background might be required for the Master Data Science program? So in the admission of the Masters, you have some detail there, but if I want to summarize, you are computer scientist, mathematics, statistics, physics. This is our usual ones, but also engineering, that you were exposed to some computer science if you had the basic courses in computer science or programming and so on. And this happens in many ones, like industrial engineering or civil engineering. These are profiles that we have accepted in the Master of Data Science. So what the Commission typically checks here is that you have the enough background as to follow the next courses. So hope this answers your question. And then we have another question. Is it mandatory to have an English language certification to apply to one of the masters in English? Yes, it's mandatory. You need to pass one of the exams at the required level. Just check the link that Jose Manuel put in the chat to know more about which ones are accepted.
Sorry, hi everyone. This is my question. My name is Alexander. And yes. The question is about if I have a lot of practice in my previous work, for example, during more than 10 years, is it mandatory to have the English language certification or not?
Okay, I think so, that you still need it, but Jose Manuel, could you please confirm?
We only accept exceptions to that mandatory English language certification if you have had previous studies in English, right? So if you have studied, for example, in the Netherlands and you have a degree there that has been studied in English.
I have IT certification in English for, I think, 2 certifications, for example. They're from Google, from Amazon. Is it enough?
No, I'm sorry, but it is not.
10 years about practicing English, enough?
Yeah, but the question is that we need some kind of proof, right?
Okay.
Okay, so the next question is from Javier Martinez. So I'm studying a double degree and I just have 6 credits left from each one, so a total of 12 in addition to the final degree projects. My university does not allow me to unfold my experience before I finish, as the maximum credits left for applying are 9. Can I apply for a master? But I don't know if I'm understanding well, Javier. So you cannot provide a transcript at all, not even the previous courses or any document from the faculty where these courses and the marks are appear?
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Well, yes, in fact, they have offered me to make a certificate in order to apply. I don't know if it will be enough.
I understand that if the certificate is from the faculty, and then yes. So the question is that it needs to be an official document, right, Jose Manuel? I think that then it should be fine.
Yeah, we need an official document with all the courses that have been passed, the credits obtained in each course, and the marks obtained.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So the next question is from Jose Abrego. What test result or certification can I present as proof of English for the master's taught in English? So Jose Manuel put a link in the chat, so please check it. There you will have the information. For the levels is in the slides. Typically it's B2, okay, according to the European reference framework of reference. We have a startup again, so let's move. Hunter Fellan, what was the acceptance rate for MDS and the other FIB master's program this year? By heart, I cannot tell you, Hunter. I think that so there are masters that get full. So the Master of Data Science and Artificial Intelligence, they get full. MIRI, I think it depends on the specialization, right? And I'm not sure about May, but I would say that getting into the waiting list is not that difficult. And for example, for what I know, both in Master of Data Science and May, we had, and May, for example, the two that had more applications. In the end, we were following the waiting list because there were some very last-minute dropouts, and we were following the waiting list. So I think that that there is a fair chance to be accepted, but I cannot tell you exactly the acceptance rate. I don't know if any from the team really have these numbers. I cannot tell them by heart, honestly, right now. Yeah, but sorry, Hunter, I think that we cannot really fully answer these details. The next one is from Jens Lageman. Is a bachelor degree in English sufficient to prove a B2? Yeah, Jose Manuel answered this, right? So if you have former studies at the bachelor level in English, then I understand this is sufficient. And Jordi Spaza is asking, I have two questions. I have not finished my degree yet. Which certificates do I have to give for my admission regarding academic personal certificate and diploma? So it's what we have been discussing up to now. You need an official document from the faculty telling you the name of the course, the number of VCTS, and the mark. And it could be something like a certificate or any other kind of official proof, right? And the second one is the degree in industrial and technologies enough for May admission. Industrial technologies is a degree that has been considered for acceptance in MDS and in MIRI, both of them. And I think that this, again, the question is, by default, you might be considered. The question will be how much core courses in computer science you had during this bachelor. And it depends on the university as well and the syllabus you were following, okay? So it's hard to answer, but by default, you are not out because of this degree. This is a degree that could let you get in. Aneta is asking, I have a bachelor degree in material science and nanotechnology. In my second year of studies, I had two subjects that come from computer science, computer engineering and web design. Can I apply for data science or artificial intelligence? If you only have these two courses, only this, I'm afraid this is too scarce. You would need something else. Typically, what these masters check is that you have enough background in algorithms, programming, which is not the same. Be careful, it's not enough to know how to program in Python or something like that. You need to also know the algorithmic part of programming. And typically also some other basic courses related to computer science, but this is the very least thing that we will be checking, okay? Then the next one is Ricardo Necula, who has a question. Ricardo?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Ricardo.
I'm a student from a computer engineering degree, and I wanted to know if I mean, my background is pretty solid, but I want to know, having like this background is enough, or I have also to I need also to have so high marks to get a chance to enter?
That's a very good question, Ricardo. And what I would like to say about this is that if you check the admission information in the masters, what all the commissions check is not only the marks. So we do care about diversity and people really eager to learn and to promote different ways of thinking inside the master. Because one of the important things is that the cohort that we create in a master is able to promote good habits among them. So it's fine to have different perspectives. What I'm trying to say with this, if I find a person that maybe has a bit lower marks than another, but this person is showing a lot of interest doing hackathons, participating in research tasks with during the bachelor, or just participating in code camps, or I don't know, just showing that this is a person with interest and passionate about the topic and is able to transmit this passion, this is positively assessed. So the admission is not purely a mark and we sort by marks and we take the top marks. This does not happen during the commissions. So the commissions take into account many other things, and it's important that during your applications you show passion about the topic, that you are eager and you want to work hard and learn hard about these topics. I must say that the masters at FIB, they are demanding in the work that you need to do, because as I told you, they are excellence masters of excellence. So there is quite a lot of work to do. There is a lot of aspects that we need to assess that this person is going to be able to follow the master in a proper way, with the right attitude, with the right autonomy, that it's able to be self-sufficient during the master, to complement the things that are shown during the lectures. All this is important. So I would say that accepting someone yes or no, it's a lot of small details that you need to pay attention during the application, and for sure it depends in many things, not only the marks. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Joao is question is in this question I want to apply to MIRI, but I can't have the EL certificate. Yes, this is a question that we had before. No, is it possible to apply and give this later? I meant to say that I will not know the grade from the IELTS exam before 22nd of April. Can I apply in the first call and give the grade from the exam? So what Jose Manuel answered here, Joao, was that you need to upload that you are enrolled to an exam. Okay, so you need it's not needed that you have the final mark, but you need to show proof that you are enrolled in an exam, so that you will be able to contribute or just provide the final mark. In short, I mean, if the exam you are going to take it very close to the second deadline, maybe then it's better you apply in the second period. But if it's just some days after, I think this is fine, as long as you upload the proof and then contact us to communicate the final result as soon as you have it. Okay.
Hello. The exam will be in the 23 or 24 of April, just 1 or 2 days after.
Then I think it's not a problem, Joao. That's fine. Just upload the proof and then communicate with our team whenever you have the final results. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So the next one is Newish Murawat for international students. Could you elaborate on the requirements of translation certification of documents issued outside the European Union? Well, for the application, it's mainly you can provide them in English, but I guess that your question goes further even for the official registration. So maybe Jose Manuel, you want to answer this question?
I'm not sure if he or if the candidate means about when he or she is accepted. You know, because yes.
Hi, Jose. I was just confused with, so I read in the chat, like during pre-enrollment time, I do not need a translation of my English documents. The documents that are issued by my university are in English. But now I understand that during the enrollment session, I was now I wanted to know during the enrollment session, if I get accepted, what documents would I need for translation and for
if you're admitted, you will get information about what documents you need to translate, right?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So the next question is, I have a degree and also some extra courses that I took in different universities, companies through Coursera. Will these extra courses be taken into account? Yes, they are. But obviously, we consider or better appreciate courses that are related to bachelor or official courses than Coursera-related ones. But nevertheless, if it's interesting courses from Coursera that complement the lacks that you may have, this can be positively assessed. And indeed, this is one of my advices, that if you are applying to one master that you know that you are lacking something, taking an extra course just to show that you are aware that you have this gap and that you were working to cover it, this can be positively assessed by the Commission. So then we have here the link from Jose Manuel, and then Yvette is one person from our team. She was writing in the chat, I guess that you checked, that if you are admitted, translation of the academic documents is compulsory, but after admission, okay? When you are registering officially into the master, but this is after pre-enrollment, okay? For the admission applications or pre-enrollment, you can upload your documents in Spanish, Catalan, or English, and then if you are admitted, then you must authenticate them and translate them to Spanish or Catalan, okay? So just thank you, Yvette, for this answer. You also have the certificates from Jose Manuel, and then we have another question from Luis Salazar, who is asking another question that came to me when you mentioned that you can do a partial application to the master showing you have enrolled to the English test. What can I use to choose that I have enrolled to the English certification test? In my case, it's the IELTS in my home country, Mexico. Well, when you enroll, Luis, you always get a document or an email or something telling you that you are enrolled at a certain date for a certain time, right? This should suffice. I'm not sure if I'm understanding your question, Luis.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, sorry, that was the corrector, the choose to show. Yeah, I'm applying for the IELTS test here in Mexico. So they just gave me like a small document, told me that I already paid for the test. So can I upload this document to show that I enrolled for the test, or what else can I ask for to show
But
that?
this document doesn't show the day and the time where you are going to be tested?
Yeah.
So I think it should be enough if the time and date appears. Let Jose Manuel confirm, but I think
yes, that's what they're waiting for.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Jose Manuel. Thank you. So the next one is Sebastian Linares. Is asking if I have a full-time job related to data, could this count as ECTS for my? Yes. Well, to data, what do you really mean with data? I mean, if it's related to the master, yes, it could be considered. So typically, what you do then is that once you are enrolled in the master, you do the process to try to recognize this professional experience, and then they will check what tasks and what kind of job you were doing, and they will answer you if this is done or not. I mean, it depends on the tasks and the kind of job, right? But yes, the answer is yes. Alam Lopez is asking, I have two questions. The first one is, what would be the difference between master in data science and master in data in artificial intelligence with data science intensification? So artificial intelligence is an old field of studying computer science, that they have many ways to tackle the problem of artificial intelligence, right? So for example, in artificial intelligence, you have complex systems, you have logics, you have data science, but you have other ways to tackle the problem, right? Data science is just one way to do artificial intelligence, even if nowadays maybe is the most trendy one. In the Master of Data, in the Master of Artificial Intelligence, you will not only see the data part, but other aspects of artificial intelligence. In the Master of Data Science is fully focused on data and data analysis and data management. So another difference is that in the Data Science Master, you are also covering the computing or the creation of systems around the data ecosystems, which is part of the Data Science Master. Okay, so the question is, if you take the data science intensification, there is a big overlapping with the Master in Data Science, but nevertheless, there are mandatory courses in the Master in Artificial Intelligence, which are not of the data science. Still, you still have, you will see these other ways of doing artificial intelligence, and in any case, the Master in Data Science has all this data management and the data lifecycle with big data management that is not covering in artificial intelligence. Okay. The second one, is it possible to take the Master in Artificial Intelligence or Master in Data Science part-time? So can I work while I study? Yes, yes. I think that this holds for all the masters. Correct me if I'm wrong, Maribel, Jose Manuel, but
yes.
Is it right, Maribel?
It's possible, it's possible. It only depends on the schedule of your courses. Okay.
So then it's just a matter that you enroll as a part-time student, and then depending on the Master of Data Science is in the afternoons, MIRI is in the mornings. I think it's kind of mixed, so it depends on and this one is a bit more difficult, especially because there is one day that you need to go to Tarragona. I think that it's a bit, but I think that there are students working also in this Master.
Okay, so I have another question here. Right now I'm working I live in Mexico, and my plan was to apply for the part-time study programs, one of those. So my question is if I can keep working remotely from Spain, but in Mexico, and still studying, if it's an IT job related.
Well, I mean, the way you organize your professional life, let's say, it's independent from us. I mean, you can work as in the manner that you think you find convenient for yourself. The thing is that if later you want to recognize this kind of job as ECTS, remember that this is only possible in the artificial intelligence one. Once the data science would not allow this. If you want to recognize it as ECTS, then it depends on the commission that will check your task and so on, if they finally recognize them or not. But I think this is independent of if it's remote or face-to-face work, right? Nowadays, I think that every time more and more we have plenty of people who are working remotely. I think this is not weird right now.
And is it possible to apply first as a full-time and then moving to a part-time, or is it necessary to apply at the beginning as a part? Okay,
it's possible. Yes, you can do it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maribel. So the next question is from Miona Dimic. If I have 3 exams left to pass in May, June at earliest to complete my bachelor degree, is it possible to apply and later show completion? You can apply with a partial transcript. Yes, this is what we mentioned before, right? Miona, I don't know if I'm maybe missing some aspect of your question, but you can apply with what you have right now, and if it's only 3 courses, then it should appear everything except these 3 courses, and then you will get a final answer with that. The only thing you need to guarantee is that before starting in September, your bachelor is fully finished, right? Gabriel Zarate is asking, I have a question. Does the documentation we have to present to be in English, or it could be in Spanish? So Gabriel, for the pre-enrollment, you can upload it in English, no problem. But then this is what Yvette wrote in the chat. If you just scroll up a bit, there is quite a comprehensive answer from Yvette Garcia. If you just scroll up with explaining that one thing is pre-enrollment, you can just upload the document in Catalan, English, or Spanish. But then for the official registration in the master, you will need to authenticate and translate them to Spanish or Catalan. But this is at the registration time. Okay. Then we have Sebastian Linares is asking, can Coursera EDX courses help fill the gap if my bachelor is not CS? you cannot fully cover it with Coursera or EDX courses, right, Sebastian? But if you already had some courses in your bachelor and then you complement it with a couple more Coursera courses, I think this is very positive, and the Commission will see that you are eager to complement and to improve the gaps you may have. So I think that if you come from industrial engineering, most probably, I don't know where you studied, but most probably you already had programming or algorithms or even databases. It's something that you may have had in your bachelor. So you can complement this with other courses to strengthen your application for sure. So the stronger your application is, the better, right? But but I think it's from industrial engineering, I would expect you had some courses, no, during the bachelor. Then we have Joao Valerio. I've written some articles about AI in journals, in a journals university. Is this taken into account for admission? Well, it's not it's what I was saying before. You need to show passion about the topic. So you of course include these things as things that you have done about the topic and about your passion about the AI, and of course include it. I mean, writing in an article in a journal for the university, it's something interesting, but not as interesting as having the right background or something like that. No, so you just put it at the right level of understanding, but for sure this is something that in addition is interesting and interesting. And finally, it's needed recommendation letters to MIRI. If not, I can still send them to be considered. Will it make? To be honest, I'm not fully sure, but if you check in the admission of masters, let me just quickly check. But in the admission of the master, you should have the detail of what they are expecting, and I would say they are not mandatory, but you can, as well, you can include recommendation letters additionally to the materials you are. Some students did it in the past, and this is a usual one, no? And let me just quickly check admission. Just to be fully sure that I'm answering right here. So required documents for the Master of Intelligence is curriculum, passport, academic personal certificate, diploma, English certificate. No, so the recommendation letters are not mandatory. In any case, would be optional if you want to include them. Okay.
I have another question about that. The recommendation letters that I have are in Portuguese. And they are signed and certificated by the teacher. Can I translate them myself?
No, you should not do that, because then it will not be considered. Yeah, I would suggest here you ask the lecturer to write it in English.
Okay.
If you present something translated by yourself, then it's not clear what comes from you and really from the lecturer, you know. So I don't think the Commission will consider this. It's better you ask for translation.
Okay, so the official document needs to be in English.
Yeah, I think it's better.
Okay, and if I send them, they will be considered?
Sorry?
If I send the recommendation letters, will they be considered?
This is optional material, but of course, just make so if you put effort in your application and you complement it as much as possible, it's always positive, no? So for sure, if you have them, include them.
Yes, okay. Thank you very much.
No problem, you're welcome. So we are at the end of the list with all the questions. I don't know if anyone wants to make a very last minute question, or should we stop here the session? Okay, so just I would like to thank you very much for joining us in this presentation. I do hope you found interesting our masters and appealing to study at FIB. We would be glad to receive your applications, and we will carefully check them. So please consider to apply on time for the first evaluation period. It would be helpful, I think, for your procedure, especially if you need to apply for visa. Remember that this session has been recorded, so we will make them make both the presentation and the slides available in our website. As soon as we will have it, we will let you know. So for now, thank you very much. Thank you for joining. Also, thank you for all the whole team that connected to help me with the answers. Thank you very much for being there. And nothing else. Thank you again, and see you soon. See you hopefully at UPC. Bye for now.